Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 15 of the Webcomics Hubcast. Episode 15 of the Webcomics Hubcast. Today, we're talking about manga. We're talking about manga. We're talking about a little bit of AI comics again. And maybe I'll talk about this crazy theory I have that it's probably really stupid and dumb, but I gotta get out of my body, out of my system. So there is that. We're also going to be talking about women in comics, as always. Oh my God, Cloudy, why are you not here? I can't live without Cloudy, but good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. You can listen to this later, and you can watch the absolute nightmare that is me trying to deal with technological breakdowns in my free time. We're going to talk about women in comics, and there's a lot to talk about for women in comics today because a lot's happened to women, poor women. They are out here struggling on a daily basis. Nothing works for them as it should, to be quite honest. We do not do enough. And then finally, we are going to be talking about, we may talk about the girl who cried on TikTok because I want to be current and relevant. Yeah, just to dox you a little bit. I want to be current and relevant. So we may talk about the girl who cried on TikTok about work because I think it's kind of like I think it's relatively. I have a Patreon. I think it's relatively relatable to kind of where we're at because like when I heard her crying, it hurt me. We may not talk about her. It's not that important to be honest. Anyway, I think our key topic to start off with today is can we talk about how manhwa this year is like king. It's ruling the school, if you will. All the kids are talking about it. All the kids are talking about manhwa. This year has been kind of an unprecedentedly good year for manhwa. All the way from a fine that Kakao had to deal with, which I want to show you up in the screen in a second, and all the way to the massive success of manhwa-based TV shows and adaptations kind of gaining a lot of crazy attention. Kind of gaining a lot of crazy attention. I think what we'll start with, and I got a lot of this from the Korea Jungang Daily. This is kind of the past year of info. I've kind of kept some of this behind to talk about this at a different time, and this is the time. So, manhwa is kind of in a crazy year. In fact, all of Korean content is in a crazy year, right? K content in general has been dominating TikTok. K content has been dominating TikTok basically since the first half of this 2023. And the TikTok CEO thinks it's never going to go. It's just talked about in July. I'm talking about it now because I think it's still relevant to talk about how, like, I think he's very right. More and more books are coming out that are manhwa or indie webcomics. And generally, the TikTok conversation around them goes absolutely fucking viral. Manga is less in the conversation now than it was at the end of last year. And I don't mean that it's gone or anything. I'm just saying this is the current zeitgeist. This is the thing that the kids are talking about. And you can even see it in environments like this. They're literally trying to cast people for Omniscient Reader right now in Korea. Omniscient Reader's viewpoint, if you read the scanlation, is they're trying to get casting for that. And that's interesting, right? Because that comes from that lets you see like there is an angle here where even big businesses thinking that it's worth their time to find people to take up these roles. It's worth their time to look into people to act in these positions. I don't know anything about these actors. I do know that one of them is in Blackpink. Blankpink. Look how old I am. One of them is in Blackpink. I think her name is Jisoo. That's all I know. But like they're trying to cast Blackpink in goddamn. They're trying to cast Blackpink in the goddamn what you call it? In the oh, is it bugged? I must. Oh wait, one second. I have to like see the amount of things I have to do just to get a stream running properly. Okay, great. Should be fine now. Anyway, they're trying to cast Blackpink they're trying to cast a Blackpink member in Omniscient Reader because it's that big of a deal that they're willing to put the work into getting that big of a celebrity onto the show. And Omniscient Reader's got a big fan base, but it still says a lot that is what's happening right now in the world of manhwa. Even Kakao, this is very recent. Kakao is releasing a Japanese version of a popular manhwa called Aquaman, um, in the webtoon on Fuji on Japan's Fuji TV, right? Like the adaptation, the growth, the release of content is crazy. Disney's feeling it too. Disney's seeing a massive rise of numbers in Korea, and one of the reasons is because Disney is a home to quite a lot of K dramas and K content that is based on manhwas. Does any Western webtoon have a show or movie? No, but there's a big move right now, and if you follow on Twitter and you follow her socials and stuff, there's a big move right now by the creator Manji to get her work adapted into animation, and she's working directly with animation studios using her manager, and it seems to be going well. Like, however we feel about her, however we feel about anyone really in the industry, it's important to recognize when someone is doing something important, separate from the fact that they may be doing something, separate from the fact of who they are. And I think Monji is doing something very important. She's laying the groundwork for a lot of people, at least, for like what it's going to be like to get your work adapted. Monji makes Let's Play, the gamer comic, and if that goes well, if her entire adaptation thing goes well and makes good money, there's going to be likely a big surge in indie small studios or big studios with using small teams to kind of adapt manhwa and webcomics into animations. And that's going to be interesting to see. You know, it's going to be interesting to see because it's just an anime adaptation. It's going to be an anime adaptation, and that's cool. That's actually really cool. And this has been on my mind a lot because this industry is very exploitative, and like the film industry is even more exploitative. We haven't solved our problems here, but people here are already looking for a way to move us from this medium to the next to other mediums. And like, I'm a little concerned. I don't know if you guys know about this, and I wasn't really going to talk about this today, but like it kind of dawned on me that I probably should mention it. Have you guys heard like how shooting what do you call it? Have you guys heard how like filming things like Squid Game and etc. in Korea typically is? It's quite a terrible environment. They don't have a filmmakers union. They don't have like a film union like we do. So like a lot of their treatment can be very bad. And if you extend that away from film into the animation industry, especially no matter where you are in the world right now, there's even worse treatment. And these webtoons, yeah, they're doing well. They're big. They're making money. But fundamentally, they have such thin margins to make money on that they're often trying to cut costs really hard. And often that leads to crazy amounts of crunch and underpaying of staff in all these other industries. Webcomics can barely pay themselves. Like, regardless of how Korea wants to sell you the idea of the celebrity webtoon creator, that is not the truth for a majority of people who you would consider successful in this industry. That is just not true, right? And if that is not true, it's a little concerning to see them not fix the problems in their own house, but look elsewhere to find out how they can make more and more money. Uncontrolled capitalism, am I right? But like, it's concerning. The only two Western indie comics I can think of became animated are Scott Pilgrim and Nimona. Yeah, those ones are rare, but I think we might see more and more of them, which is why I'm concerned. Because the reason those ones are rare is because those ones transcended a certain level of cultural relevance very quickly that like, very few things could do quickly. But if the manhwa train proves to be correct, if making more and more animated content and making more K-drama content of these comics proves to go well, and things like Monji's work and Laura Olympus's potential animation, which I think it was mentioned for like 2 seconds, but not for longer, go well, we might see a big move. Like we might see animation coming in a big way into the webcomic industry. And I don't know. I don't know, right? Like I don't want to be a bummer. I don't want to be like it's exciting, but it's not. I hate doing that. But like I have to tell you that like I'm interested. I think it's good that this is happening, but also I am very fucking concerned because I say this every time. My friends make shit. A lot of you, like a lot of people who watch me are people I know personally to some extent. We've had conversations. We talk. We hang out in the Discord server. So like for me, some of you are at least people I know, and so I'm looking at this and thinking this industry is a very exploitative one, and it's already exploiting people in the current environment. How badly is it going to go when it leaves the space? To some extent, if they run it correctly and they keep the budgets low and they pay people appropriately and they keep the scope pulled in, right? It's going to be a very interesting thing to see because, as Vidral says in Twitch chat, which you can see on the screen now, it's a great way to advertise the goddamn books, and the books are where the margin is. The books are where the crazy margin is, where you can make fucking 4 times the amount of money you put into a book off of a book. For some books, not most. And then Requiem's in Twitch chat is saying, after the original first wave of Webtoon adaptations, I feel mixed on the impact of the future wave we'll possibly see. I actually agree with him. So you guys don't know this. I am planning to do a rewatch and a watch of a lot of animated K-drama adapted Webtoon content. I'm trying to watch as much of it as I can. And Requiem is a person who I watched one of the first adapted things I watched from Webtoon with. I watched Sweet Home. And we kind of liked it, but we kind of despised it. Like, we liked it in a way that we liked it in the wrong way. You know? And like, we've seen other things. We watched God of High School. We could barely make it through. We watched Tower of God. We kind of liked that. And like, what I'm trying to get is there's a lot of mixed content coming out. So when you forget the wrong way of liking things, imagine when you like something for a reason that is not like meaningful, right? Like, that's not what it intends to be. Sorry. Like, so like, you know, if you okay, here's a great one. Every time you see that picture from the Flash TV show of the Flash actor like posing in front of a grave, that's like you're liking it for the intended purpose. You're laughing because he was doing that to be joking. But if every time you see the grave in the TV show you laugh, you're laughing for the wrong reason. That might mean that they pulled it off incorrectly, right? You're liking it for the wrong reasons. You're enjoying it the wrong way. No one wanted you to do it, but you did it anyway. Anyway, I'm just like, what we're saying is we've seen a very mixed set of releases, and that's when they spent money that they think that they should have spent, and and like on IPs that are like guaranteed gangbusters. So when you forget, even when you forget the angle of exploitation, you forget the angle of underpaying people, and you forget the angles of like, you know, actual returns and how it's going to affect like the way money gets made in our industry. The angle that really comes to mind is also just like, how is it going to be? Is it going to suck? Because for a majority of people, right, they don't care about these theoretical issues. They care, is it going to suck? I don't blame them, right? If it's going to be terrible, why should I watch it? Is a reasonable thing to ask. And like, I get it. And I think the answer to that question is like, I don't know. So far they've been mixed. And I think they made one with Crunchyroll. Which one did they release with Crunchyroll? I don't remember. But God of High School, that was the one. And like, so far they've been mixed, and some of them have been absolutely downright terrible, insulting releases to the original content. Not for faults of the animated, but for fault of a lack of budget, and maybe way too big of a scope, right? So it's going to be interesting to see the fallout of this in the future. Oh yeah, the Noblesse animation that picks up where a Noblesse animation that was done 5 years ago ends. Insanity. Like, I wish I could explain that to you, and I'll explain it to you way later. But like, God, is it insane? It's all right, Crumbs. It's all right. I hope you're good. I hope you're wonderful. I'm very excited because I've just remodeled Twitch chat, and I'm not going to stop talking about it because I worked really hard on this. I worked really hard on getting Twitch chat to act and YouTube chat to like sync up and be instant. Okay, this took forever. This took days. I spent money on stupid shit that did not work. Anyway, yeah, I'm thinking this whole adaptation thing adaptation boom we're gonna see coming up is gonna be interesting, and it's gonna really determine the future of how money is made in our industry. I don't want to say it's gonna be a bad thing, but I am concerned that like of what is going to happen. I don't like to be a spoil sport. I should say this, as much as it seems like I enjoy being funny, like laughing and saying, haha, this thing is actually secretly bad. I don't want to be a spoil sport. I just want us to be aware. As people who create in the industry, I think we should be highly aware of the impact our work can have on other people. and we should be highly aware of the impact the work that other people do can have on our industry. And I'm sorry if that's like a bit of a bummer thing to do. I mean, I'm not sorry, but I'm going to say I'm sorry so that you can not feel bad. That's good. That's good, Crumbs. That's good. Damn. Okay. I don't want to be too much of a bummer. I will say this is a good thing. I'm going to actually give a win for artists. Okay? This is a win for artists, a win for the common man, a win for you and me and God. And I should probably fix the bot shows up in chat, but whatever. I'll do that in a bit. A W, if you will. Thank you. A W, right? Kakao Entertainment faces $540 million fine over unfair contracts. I think that's the best fucking news I could have gotten today. I think that's the best news I could have gotten. Because I am not I am not like a grub. I don't wish for the downfall of every company. But this is a win for streamers everywhere. A win for you, a win for me, a win for all of us, really. Kakao getting a taste of their own medicine. Oh, my chat's like showing the thing I was doing. No. I was like trying to fix a problem, and now all of you saw me fixing it. Very sad. Anyway, Kakao getting a taste of their own medicine over unfair contracts. This is the funniest thing. Do you know why? Do you know what they did? Do you want to know what they did? So here's the thing. The Fair Trade Commission of Korea, so the FTC of Korea, not the Federal Trade Commission, the Fair Trade Commission, is the one giving them the fine for unfair contracts to web novelists. And here's what Kakao did. Kakao ran a total of 5 contests between 2018 and 2020 for authors. So this is for their web novel division. Do you know what Kakao did? They told people that all the rights to make secondary works for winning content for anybody who won the contest would belong to Kakao. So like the contract said that no matter what, they would have to make their content with Kakao. And Kakao and the FTC of Korea said that is an antitrust problem, and you cannot force people to make their content with you. That is not okay. You cannot do that. And it must report the details of every contract that it makes from now into the future for the next 3 years to the FTC. Otherwise, it would have an issue. Kakao said, and I'm going to read this one because I think it's the most ghoulish shit. Kakao said, Kakao Entertainment considers creators as our main partners and has never taken over the author's rights to make secondary works unfairly. It is with great regret that the FTC made such a decision, even though we thoroughly explained our situation in the investigation. My dude, just like, don't force them to make shit with you and ask them if they want to make shit with you. Kakao, when do you learn? When do you fucking learn, man? When? God, dude. Every day I loathe the fact that Dom literally lost. Yeah, because they fucked up hard. I want it to be clear, by the way. And I'm going to say something political. Big shock, right? But like, I'm going to say something political. Oh my fucking God. The chat is killing me. This chat thing is killing me. I'm going to die. Okay. Every time I fix this chat thing and it breaks, I legitimately lose sleep. I legitimately lose sleep. I'm going to fix it, but I'm just going to say this while I'm fixing the chat. I'm going to just say this real quick. We are living in like the most right-wing like that governments have ever been around the entire world. And I say that for a very, very simple reason. We're living in this era that is like so bad for content creators, for artists, for like all of us, right? We're living in this awful era. And even despite all of that, these governments that are straight up willing to like sacrifice all of our rights said, bro, you crossed the line. Korea is like in a really right-wing state right now, as far as I can see, right? It's as far as I can find, it's a super right-wing right now. It's super pro-corporate. And even then, they said, bro, you really fucked up. And that's funny. That's really funny. Like, don't you think so? Don't you think that's like Like you're so bad that even the people who are trying to defend you don't think that they should defend you. I'm sorry, like I kind of love that, you know, like cut me some slack. Now I will say this: when you see big fines like this in like regulatory things that come up, you know, it's actually really exciting. You know, you really want to like talk about it and stuff. I'm so mad. I'm so mad when the chat is not working the way I wanted to. Anyway, you really want to like talk about it and stuff, and you think, wow, this is great. This is great news. You know, I'm so happy that like they're getting got. I'm so happy that they're getting got. I need you to know, and I hate to say it, a lot of the problems, a lot of the problems that like a lot of these like fines will usually be kind of lost in a mess in a sea of um like random things that they will have to pay or like do and concessions and stuff they have to give the government. Let me just make sure this works. Oh God. No! Oh, chat not working is truly the bane of my existence. I'm literally struggling every day just to use technology properly. Anyway, you guys tell that I'm having a hard time right now. Can you be nice to me? Can everyone be nice to me? Like really nice to me today? I'm just I'm just trying to make things work, man. I'm just trying to make things work. I'm just trying to like I'm doing my best, gang. Please. Anyway, when you see big fines like these, like don't read too much into them because often the fine itself will kind of get lost in a haze of like things that people owe and things that people will do as like a concession to reduce the amount of money they have to spend. Um, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. But it's just good to be aware. Fall down 7 times. Fall down 7 times. Get up 8. You can do this. Shut up, Rosie. Don't you fucking hate it here, man. Nah, Rosie, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm just being mean. I'm just being mean. Rosie's very nice to me. I should be nicer to Rosie. But yeah, like fundamentally, a lot of these fines will get lost in like a haze of random purchases and random things that they'll give the government. Like, here's a great example. They would probably be like, "Oh, guys, what about if we do this campaign? It costs us this much money, and it's pro government." They don't really spend that much money, but they say it costs that much money, and the government will take that as like a part of the payment. So like, don't be too hopeful, but yeah, be a little hopeful. It's good. It's good. It's good to be a little hopeful. I'm gonna level with you. Okay, so everything should be working again, or terrible. Who knows? I'm gonna let it go now, and I'm gonna talk about the next thing I want to talk about today. The actual topic of today. Can we talk about women? Can we talk about women? Let's give it up for women, everybody. Can I get some? Can I get some claps in chat? Some clapping hands in chat, please. Thank you. Claps for women, please. Pogs in the chat for women, please. Um, a big pog for women today because, like, you know, comics, manga and comics really love you right now, women. Manga and comics love you. Yeah, some claps in the chat for women. You know, 60% of my audience. It's not 50-50. Too many guys are here. It's now a sausage fest. I would like my audience to actually reach the true peak number that is the right number of women, which is which is a billion. Thank you very much. Can't even do that. I am a woman. Did you guys know? You women know? Women, did you know that comics loves you? Comics really loves you, and that's why you guys have to deal with the fact that apparently in apparently in Shonen Jump, the chat is killing me. It's actually mentally killing me right now. It's like actually killing me. Oh wow. Okay. Why? Need more sausages. Whatever. I was just saying I fixed it. Um, Apparently, right? What I've been hearing down the grapevine, if you will, is that at Shonen Jump, the women aren't allowed to work there. That's a lie. What it fundamentally is that like at Shonen Jump specifically, there are no women editors. There are no women editors. I didn't even see your tweet, Art Crumbs, although I wish I did now. This comes courtesy of, I actually saw this because of Queenie Chan, who is friend of the show, friend of the podcast, friend really. Um, and Queenie Chan did retweeted the actual person who talked about it, which is Colleen's manga recommendations. She's a YouTuber, fellow YouTuber, lovely person. And it was from a paper I have now read called Inside the Media Mix by Brian Hikari Katsan. The paper itself is very deep. It talks about a lot of information internally about working at places like Jump and other magazines. It talks about the perceptions magazines have of each other. It talks about why content is chosen over other content. One of the things that it talks about in a certain section is that it really talks about what it's like working in Jump as a woman, right? To be upfront. What it's like being a woman in Jump. And he talks about it actually at several points. It's multiple different locations where this comes up. But I think the best thing that can be brought up, and this is straight from Colleen's Twitter. So I'm just going to show this on the screen, like right now. Is this series of screenshots from the doc. I kind of want to just like open the doc because I have it here, just for evidence. This is the document. I have been reading it. Like I've read most of it. I only saw this today, so I tried to read most of this. But this is the peer-reviewed UOC doc. I have been reading it. Brian is actually writing a very interesting piece, and there's a lot to learn. But Colleen's got the screenshots, and I'm too lazy. Anyway, so here is a great part. While this is a great excerpt from the paper, so I'm going to just read it wholesale. While this might explain the wealth of male mangaka, this does not sufficiently explain Shueisha's decision to limit the creative pool to male editors. That's Shonen Jump. Shueisha. So this is not like it's not like a thing that is like vague. It's a company policy that women are not to be editors in Shonen Jump. There are to be no women editors in Shonen Jump. It may not be like on paper policy, but it's definitely a very informal, followed, and trusted policy, right? One reason suggested to me by multiple editors is that female editors for rival manga magazines have run into trouble with the male mangaka for whom they were tanto. Some women reported that mangaka were stalking them away from work, while others found it difficult to work with mangaka who could not withhold their affections for the female editors. As shut-ins, because most mangaka are actually hikimori, it's depressing. As shut-ins, typically too busy to foster meaningful relationships, some mangaka's only contact with the opposite sex is through their female editors. In the shoujo manga industry, male editors are valued for their direct input and emotional distance. As professionals who ostensibly did not grow up reading the magazine, they are less emotionally invested in the stories they edit. But romantic relationships still develop. According to Sato, editors can be parents, brothers, sisters, and yes, lovers. It's very common in the shoujo manga industry, and for people to fall in love with each other. And there's more. There's more in this document. It talks about how there's the company policy that like no women work for the manga in the third editing office. That's in Weekly Shonen Jump, right? And in the shoujo manga industry, 75% of all editors are men, despite the fact that most of the people who make stuff are women in shoujo. There's even more, such as bringing up the fact of like, I'm going to read this one again, wholesale. At the same time, the regulations of relationships covertly reinforce the type of relationships Weekly Shonen Jump values most. Male homosocial friendships, where in shoujo manga, romantic relationships form the basis for exploring the changing and complex feelings of adolescent girls. Such subject matter is largely out of place in the masculine stories of Shonen Jump, where lead characters are often male and female characters exist mostly in supporting roles as healing, nurturing types or erotic sexual fantasies. Male editors frequently take mangaka out for bonding activities, drinking in pubs, while when female editorial help is enlisted, it is often to address a perceived lack in male perspective, such as to extract details from biological limitations. Sato told me how she was probed for more personal details on more than one occasion to enrich the manga. One comedy manga was about a genius who made women's underwear, she said. They wanted to know how to draw and wear lingerie. They asked me, as a woman, certain details involving lingerie, and they even asked me about my sexual fantasies. What kind of lingerie would make me feel sexy? I'm okay with stuff like that, but I can see how some might view this as sexual harassment. Understatement of the year. But thanks, Sato. I really appreciate it. Now, I want to be upfront. This document was put out in 2015. Okay? This document was put out in 2015. We just didn't read it. We just didn't read it. Okay? This is a at this point almost 8-year-old paper. And there's a lot of papers like this on just the sheer misogyny of Japanese publishing and of publishing in general. It's just this almost transcends countries. Okay? I have seen this exact kind of information said about everything from freaking manga to manhwa to goddamn less about manhwa actually, about manga to manhwa, Chinese manhwa, and even to freaking comics. It's a very common thing in comics. 6 months ago or whatever, I was here talking to you guys about how what'd you call it? About how there was a big issue in the world of regular comics where they were not just fewer women working there than usual. They were actively excluding women. I mentioned the situation of the Bat family. I don't know if anyone remembers this from streams ago, but essentially, in the Batman creators and Batman, Batgirl, Nightwing, all of them, they kind of do a conference every so often so that they can kind of keep their stories and character types in check as a group, right? Most of them are men. One of the women who was writing Batgirl talked about how she was actively ignored, not only for being a junior, but wasn't even invited to the Bat family conference with everyone else. They went there, made a bunch of decisions, and then came back and they started editorializing her into hell. And this was not only one of her first comic jobs, she was the main writer on this thing, right? And that sucks. That sucks. That's so weird. This isn't a new thing. This isn't something we should be surprised by. But the reason why I'm talking about it is because I think in general there is a very big problem with the way women in comics are treated across the board. I don't think it's a country specific thing at this point. I think it's everywhere for Batgirl. Yeah, they excluded the main writer for Batgirl. She was writing the main Batgirl story at the time. I don't remember what it was though. I think there's a general problem with the way our industry treats women. For one, I'm gonna tackle the Shonen Jump thing first. The Shonen Jump one is stupid. It's just so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid. It requires a certain, and it doesn't surprise. No, it doesn't surprise me though, because Shonen Jump is the same company that worked with what you call it, Sugumi Uba, the creator of Bakuman, the creator of Death Note. That's what it was. Who is horribly misogynistic, openly horribly misogynistic. It's so creepy, and they see the shit that he says. I don't know if you guys have read Bakuman. There's a whole scene where an editor breaks down to you why women will like shonen, but if you follow all the suggestions that people mail in, the fans mail in about the content that you're making, you will just make comic that appeal to women. Now, you would think, right, that they would go, maybe just a lot more women read than we think, but no, they don't think that. It's so dumb. There's one female editor at Shonen Jump. Wow, Crumbs, you're right. We have succeeded the pinnacle, and we have actually wrapped around. We have solved misogyny, everyone. I know Crumbs didn't say that, by the way. I'm just being facetious. But we have solved misogyny, everyone. There is a female editor at Jump now. Clap, everyone. Clap in the chat. Her name is Fujita. She's very recent. We wish her luck in her job. I hope they don't talk down to her like they would talk down to most people. God fucking damn it. I absolutely fucking hate that shit. When we address that one, I hate that shit. But Oda ignores women letters from women. Lol, not surprising. But Oda is also the one who said, and this is like also from the Colleen tweet. She was retweeting someone else who said something really interesting. Oda said in a One Piece issue, um, where somebody says, "Is it possible for a woman to become an editor of One Piece, or are all the editors of boys' comics supposed to be men?" And Oda responded with, "A beautiful babe with big knockers is fine by me. If I had an editor like that, I'd work even harder." This isn't an official book, by the way. Only I think I might not draw as fast. But to be honest, the editorial department of Jump is filled with perverts. I think it's in your best interest to stay away from there. What the fuck? Like the best, I will say this: the best shonen manga and by extension anime of the past like 20 years is made by a woman. I don't understand. I don't understand what we're doing. Like the best shonen manga and anime of the past 20 years is made by a woman. It's fucking Full Metal Alchemist. It's the only thing you can show people. It's made by women. And it confuses me even more because like Gundam. So you guys all fucking know Gundam. Gundam, a series that I legitimately have like loved to a decent extent, and a lot of my friends do. My friend Matt is like a massive Gundam fan. He builds Gundam all the time. He builds Gunpla all the time. Gundam is a series where the creator has openly said that the main thing that kept Gundam going and kept it making money weren't the fucking shonen fans. It was the fujoshis, the people too busy writing like 600 pages of lore about why these two characters are gonna kiss, are the ones who basically kept that entire thing afloat. It's almost like the women are the reason this industry is running. Visual says in chat, what's even crazier is that boys in general are reading less nowadays. They'd rather wait to watch the anime. Shonen Jump readers have more girls reading than ever, despite the magazine marketing the boys. That's very true. In almost every industry, I say this to my work. I'm going to tell you something I say internally at my job so that you understand. I tell my boss every goddamn day, and Crumbs can tell you because Crumbs works with me. I say every goddamn day to Eric, to everyone in the team, the most important audience that we should be trying to reach is young women because they read the most goddamn comics. They're the most valuable, most consistent audience imaginable. Everyone who has made anything will tell you that young women are the thing that keep you alive if you're a comic creator. Like, the only thing the men are doing is buying a bunch of Batman issues and brooding in the corner and going, oh, I wish women would love me like they love Batman. I'm sorry. I'm such an asshole there. Thank you for permitting motherfuckers. The mangaka know about the women fans. Otherwise, they wouldn't be making motherfuckers like Gojo or the Angel Devil. Yeah! Like, or Aaron. Like, Gintama, okay, I'm gonna say this. Gintama's entire sales pitch, right? Gintama's entire sales pitch is that Gin is hot. One of the most popular comedy manga of all time is big because Gin is hot. Like, what are we doing, dude? What are we doing? Why are we fucking shooting our core audience in the back? Like, what are we fucking, bro? Who let bro? What's going on? What is going on? Who is cooking there, bro? Who's cooking at Shonen Jump? Like, toy sales? No. Do you know who buys the most toys? Women. Young girls have the most toys because boys are socialized out of toys, at least in the West, very quickly. I don't know why, but boys in Western countries are socialized out of toys very, very quickly, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why, but it's a thing, right? It's a thing. You get your action figures, people start calling them dolls, and then society has made you feel like having a doll is a bad thing, and so you stop having dolls. It's actually insanity, right? Like, but women get to keep toys for way longer. I haven't owned an action figure or any toy in years. Do you know who I know right now that owns toys? You know who I know right now that owns toys? My goddamn, like my friend from college, she owns like 1,000 stuffed animals. Fucking Kylie owns toys. Like half of my chat, all of the, Every girl in chat, I'm gonna ask you this. Every girl femme person in chat, every AFAB, whatever you want to be referred to right now. Real talk. Do you own a toy? Yes or no? Just say yes or no in the chat. That's all I want. Yes or no in the chat. Like, do you still own toys? You're all relatively older. Do you still own toys? Because like I am so sure that 90% of the people who own toys right now are women, and then like a bunch of dudes who own 1 million pop figures and who think they're hot shit because they sell for a lot of money on the secondary market. There's nobody else. Oh, and Sonic fans, but that's because like Sonic fans are weirdos. Forget them. They're not really real people. I spent a lot of Christmas money on dress-up games. Lamau. Yes, I own toys, and not a lot though. Very valid. I hate pop figures. I hate pop figures, and I love Sonic, so that's why I said that. I only own only 3 stuffed whales and a little Link action figure. That's actually it. I still have all my Legos from a baby. Jenny owns toys. I know that much. My 60% female audience, please rise up. Rise up now. My 60% female and non-binary audience, please rise up and tell the truth. Do you own toys? Got a few Pokemon cards. Pokemon cards don't count. They don't count. I'm sorry. Gotta level with you. I'm a secret third thing. A secret third sicko thing. No, but like, forgetting all the jokes around toys and shit, like more realistically, it's just true. Most of the people who support you are like the women that love your stuff. They're in the industry right now. Those are the people who write about you and talk about you a lot. Those are people who like spend their time making like tons and tons and tons of content about what you make, right? It's a bit psychotic. Fangirls are powerful. Fujoshis are powerful. They can level a nation. Look at what Taylor Swift is doing. Fangirls are insane, right? Fangirls are insane, and I think it's weird. Don't write that, Rosie. That could be easily misunderstood. I think it's weird that like we are pretending like they are not the core audience that we should be appealing to when we're making stuff. And even if we're trying to appeal to the young men as well. Jenny, what are you doing to me in the announcements chat? Even if they're not the core audience that we should, even if they're not like the only audience we should appeal to, we should at least acknowledge how important they are. I think it's weird that we don't. I think it's strange that we don't. Yeah, have like 2 girls on TikTok. Have like 2 girls on TikTok make like fan cams of 2 of your characters. You will never, ever, ever know failure. Have like, just make a character that people can get obsessed with enough. One girl, her name will be something like Alicia or Becky, or she'll be or she'll be from different country where like her English isn't good enough, but she knows exactly how to like make fan cams with what's that fucking editing software that all the kids are using now? CapCut, right? So make a video with CapCut, and that's it. You will never know failure again in your life. You will exclusively take W's for the rest of your career. They are the entire people holding up all of Omniscient Reader's entire back. Omniscient Reader is standing on the bodies of all the women who want to see the 2 guys fuck. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? There are lots of women in the anime manga fan base. The cosplay industry is propped up by the ladies. Yeah, thank you, Croft. Also, welcome to the stream. Appreciate having a first-time chatter in the group. Welcome, buddy. Yeah, you're right. It's insane, right? And like, but like the shonen manga that these people are massive fans of, is treated as something that's above them. And the shoujo manga that these people are massive fans of is treated as something beneath the rest of us. I don't understand. Isn't that weird? And yeah, thank you, 40. Some person on Twitter, the username will be Jimin Ass Crack, and they'll make a godly CapCut edit and ruin and skyrocket you. They will ruin everything else on the internet and skyrocket you to success. Like, holy shit. I know this girl whose Webtoon got into originals recently, and she just posted like 10 episodes. I'm sure the edit she got helped her big. Comic is love for a walk, by the way. I love it. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Miura was a huge fan of shoujo manga for real, because shoujo manga is good. I don't understand. okay, as I'm like not a dad right now. I'm not a dad right now, but I'm a pseudo dad, mostly because I'm a pseudo dad of a lot of my cousins' kids. Right? I have to. I'm the one they call to look after the kid when nobody else wants to. You know, my life is a struggle. Thank you. Um, like, and for me at least, right? For me at least, my experience with manga, I've been trying to get my niece into manga a lot, and it's working. She and I have been reading Freyren. I bought her Freyren, the entire Freyren series. I read it online. I just bought her all the books that are available right now because she likes books. Um, do I feed my kids grapes and ranch? Yes. You know what? We'll get to. I'll put a poll in chat in a second. I need to address that fucking thing. I'll get to that. Anyway, look, my niece and I have been like reading Freyren. I don't know if you guys know Freyren. It's a manga about an elf that comes back to help defeat the demon lord or whatever. Because I don't remember what the whole plot is. To be honest, I read it with her, and I don't remember the entire overall plot. I just remember the individual acts that happen. I'm gonna level with you. There's just a lot going on. Um, my niece really loves Freyren because like she thinks she really sees herself in Freyren. She's a very plain kind of like straightforward girl, and so she really loves being able to read something where other people are also plain and straightforward and simple, right? And like she likes those kinds of things, and she's so in love with it. And I showed her a Wattpad the other day. I feel like I've created a monster. I get a DM once a day with a new page. And once a day, I get a DM that's like, "Have you read my new page? Have you read my new page?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did. I did, girl. I did. Can you please let me live?" Right? Like the female audience that you build can be so crazy. It can be so crazy. I wanted to show her fanfiction.net, but that website is horrible. So I'm trying to be responsible. Um, kind of like like I, it's frustrating to me in a way because like the female audience you build can be so valuable. The young women you inspire can be so valuable. And even if you're making your comics just for young men and you find that young women are falling in love with your content, you should find out what they like about your content. But unfortunately, the nature of Shonen Jump right now and the nature of a lot of comics is that women, the young women in the industry, the most powerful purchasers of the industry, are not being respected. And instead, they're being ignored for the content to be made for the young men because that's who everyone wanted to target. And nobody wants to change targets because, I don't know, they just hate women. It's weird. Comics made for women, comics made for young girls are treated as less than. Like, I remember there was a time when you would talk to people and they wouldn't treat Archie comics as like comics. Batman's a comic. Archie is just a little book. Like when I went to school, that was a thing. That was a weird thing, but that was a thing. You know? Am I strange? Am I weird? Is that just me? And like it happens in games, it happens in most media. It's like most media is built to ignore young women. And when young women then go off and do their own fucking thing and make something cool that they like, most media then spends the time berating that shit. I am a Twilight reader. I talk about this a lot on the stream because I think it's an important thing. I have read all of Twilight, every single book, except the book where Jake where everybody's gender swapped. I've not read the gender swap book yet. Okay, let me live. I'll get to that one. I'm gonna buy it next week. But I read everything all the way to A Short Second Life of Bree Tanner, and like I get why people like this story. I get why people like this story, and I think it's super creepy that we're in an industry where like women went off and made their own thing, and women loved what they were making, and they were reading it, and we berated them for enjoying it. Like when we make shit, we exclude them. When they make shit, we make them feel bad. And I think it's very evident in this document as you see how the relation between the shonen and like the male editors of Shonen Jump, and like the other editors at other magazines is so somewhat combative. Shonen Jump thinks their work is lesser, and they think that the people there stink and don't have showers, which is true. It's true. I don't know if it's true, but I'm gonna say it's true because it's funny. Um, from Croftan in chat. Croftan96, that's a great name. Yep, rep is important. Seeing yourself in characters can elevate a work of art for people and make diehard fans. 100%. I grew up in a third world country. I once heard the name of my country, um, in a video, in a TV. I think it was a TV show. I watched that show till the end. I didn't even like the show. I just liked that they mentioned where I was from. Because you never hear that shit, you know? Like femininity in content shouldn't equals weakness, and representing more and more types of people should not be dealt with as pandering. And I'm gonna make like a little bit of a small tangent to bring us back to this, but come back to this point. There is a South Park clip right now going around called "The Panda Reckoning" or something. Like it's part of South Park's stuff where they're saying that like the reason why Disney movies suck is because the current head of content, forget her name, it starts with K, wants everyone to only be pandering and making content that panders and only and putting in more diverse LGBT women or whatever in the content. And like I think South Park is a terrible show. And if Kathleen Kennedy, yeah, that's her name. I think I think South Park is is a terrible show. And if you're a grown adult watching it, you should really get yourself checked. But more importantly, I think it's just making a very disingenuous complaint because it's making a complaint that the problem with a lot of content is the diversity and the focus on diverse characters. When really the problem with a lot of content isn't that. The problem with a lot of content is that like whenever representation is brought up and whenever content is brought up to kind of showcase the different kinds of audiences that watch the thing that is being made, um, these people don't want to do it genuinely. They don't want to write a real character. They try to retrofit our representation into their existing systems. There is never an attempt to genuinely try to showcase women, minorities, etc., in a meaningful way that is impactful to the story to kind of attract those people to those stories, right? And that's why it comes off really bad. And I think that this situation, this situation right now with that we're talking about manga and women, and that we've been talking about for years in the West about comics and women, and that I'm going to be probably spending the rest of my life talking about in terms of manhwa and women as the industry continues to grow, is that we're going to notice and see that like the situation that's happening is it's essentially a result of that kind of general mental mindset, right? The women's content is not meaningful. The women in the industry are not meaningful unless 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 they can hit a representation quota, unless they can let us kind of escape in a representation quota, unless they can essentially be retrofitted into our space. We never have to take them seriously. We never have to even care about what they do. We can go to a Bat Family conference and ignore the main writer for Batgirl. We can fucking exclude women from our editorial rooms and hire one woman, because as long as they hit the diversity quota, we're good. Other than that, we can ignore them. And I think that's like where all this behavior is coming from, where this disgusting kind of fucking not kind of, very clearly misogynistic mindset comes from. It's from a mindset that only sees people like women and other minority groups as like points to a diversity quota. Whether their opinions are valuable or not is irrelevant, because frankly, I was never going to listen to your opinion anyway. I just need to make sure that I don't get fined for not hiring you. That's it. That's fucking weird. That's fucking weird. Croftant making really good points again, saying if someone has always had rep, they will never understand what it's like to go without rep. And that is 100% true. And these people have only ever had representation. And it is gross that like our industry is the way that it consistently is. And I talked about this before, and I'll talk about it again. It's bad. It's bad every time. Rosie says in chat, this is a great time to put comments, by the way, if you have comments on this story. Rosie says in chat, after you hear the argument that having diversity and inclusivity in stories is ruining them. It's old fashioned, and globalization is not something to be ignored. Let creators be creative. Indeed. I think they should also be allowed to be really creative, like allowed to give the time to make the creative, these choices have value to the story. You know, I think when we make content that kind of like targets what women are looking for, you know, we should allow people to make that thing well. Like I think a lot about Gintama whenever I think about this, funnily enough. I know nothing about the actual creator of Gintama. Maybe he's like the worst person in the world. What I do know about is the content from Gintama. And what I think about a lot is how when Gintama realized that a lot of the women wanted to just wanted Gin and like other characters to bone and kiss, they just made jokes where they boned and kissed, where they kissed and didn't bone. They didn't bone, but they kissed, right? They made lots of tension between those characters, so they could kind of like give those people what they were looking for, that emotional tension, make them say things that just were a little bit misleading to kind of give them a little what they were looking for. It's about it. giving your audience what they're looking for isn't always about compromising your vision. It's about including an added an added dimension to your vision, right? And like the best way to do that often is to be able to talk directly to those kinds of people who understand what those audiences are looking for. And in the case of what the women were looking for, the best way to have probably achieved that would have been to talk to women. And considering the way the Gintama writer talks, I assume he's actually spoken to a woman before. At least the animators have spoken to a woman before, if nothing else. Because a lot of women worked in the animation. So like, it's so weird, man. We live in a weird world. In a weird world. God, the Gintama women were so cool. They were cool and not weird, and they were regularly an interesting character thing. I'm sure a lot of it is definitely the animation team's rewriting of the characters from the manga, which they would definitely have had to do to make it manga ready, make it animation ready. And so like they really amped up those characters. But I'm not gonna deny that the Gintama writer's work really came in there. I don't remember his name. Probably should know that, but I'm sorry, I don't know it. Yeah, but Disney and also Kylie, Disney not being about creativity is like a whole other conversation. And we can talk about that. I think we can, but I don't think this is that conversation. Yeah. So, anyone has want to ask me something, want to say something that I haven't brought up, maybe I missed, maybe I wasn't focused on. I don't know. I feel like the problem is in and of itself one that is born from a terrible mindset, a mindset I described earlier, and like it's just upsetting. It's very upsetting. Okay, I am going to get onto the top. Oh, many critics I listen to complain about forced diversity. That complain about forced diversity complain specifically about how they'll create a character and make all the other characters incompetent to bring them up, which I do think is a valid point when it happens. But like that is not a fault of the character. That's a fault of poor writing. It's not about diversity, right? It's about poor writing, Joe, which I think is where you're getting to. Which I hope is where you're getting to. The thing is, like, if you're upset about that, if you're upset about that system and those decisions, etc., I don't know, like, talk about the writing. Like, the only reason you're bringing up forced diversity, quote unquote, as a conversation point is because you just hate minorities and you wanted an excuse and you got one. If it wasn't this, it would have been something else. Like, holy shit, dude. You know, like those people are psychotic. Those people are psychotic. I don't like that a lot of writers think women have to be girl bosses. True. I think that the idea of a woman having to be like this powerful thing to be valid and like seen as a meaningful person in media is weird, right? Like, I don't know. Like, women are allowed to be kind of like whatever they want to be as long as they're written to be taken seriously. The reason why characters like the woman in Death Note to me is a misogynistic portrayal of women is that she's not only portrayed as incompetent, she's portrayed as incompetent and like unable to learn how to be competent purely because she's a woman. Like no other thing. She gets a bunch of powers to sacrifice her life because she's just an airhead woman. That's weird, man. That's weird, Oba. You know? And I think like you can write them as incompetent people. In fact, speaking of the most interesting women I've read recently, and I was having this conversation in the voice chat, is from Chainsaw Man. Which, we can have a conversation about how Chainsaw Man and JJK are basically the same thing. We can have a conversation about how Chainsaw Man is a little bit like of a flanderized concept. But I think Chainsaw Man's absolute disregard for Jump's former like tropes and systems is interesting because what it's brought about is like two characters that I think are interesting. Mashima, I think her name is Mashima, so I'm actually going to look her up now. I keep forgetting her name. Not Michiko. What's the name of the really Makima? I keep saying Mashima. Makima. And the really annoying one. The one that like is I say annoying. The one that's always shy. Kobeni. That's her name. Kobeni. There's a lot of problems to be had with Chainsaw Man, but I think we can talk about Kobeni, that's Higashiyama, and Makima. Why would I want to hear about coffee comics? He sounds like I think he's a terrible person. Anyway, there's a lot that we can talk about Higashiyama and Makima, and how those characters are very well written female characters who do not conform to the typical expectations of women in um, Jump content. You know what I mean? They don't act the same way as most women in Jump content do. So they don't have to be caregivers, or they don't have to be, as Kylie's brought up, girl bosses. I don't want to know anything about him, to be quite honest. I think I watched a single video of his and it was terrible. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Somebody keeps saying something in chat and I'm responding to it. I need to focus. Anyway, I think Higashiyama and like Makima exist in this world where they don't have to be hyper competent, and even when they are, they don't have to be like caregivers. They get to just be people who are complicated. Makima used her sexuality as a way of manipulating people. It's a legitimate thing people do, regardless of gender, and it's not played as if she's doing it because she's some kind of woman who just wants to be evil. She's a woman who happens to be evil. You know what I mean? Like she comes off like that to me. And like Higashiyama comes off like shy and complicated and has her own problems, but she doesn't come off as a shy damsel in distress. If that makes any sense. Am I making sense right now? I hope I'm making sense right now. Maybe I'm crazy and I've missed something. But like I've given Chainsaw Man a little bit of time, and like not a lot, I'll admit this to you. And I probably should watch a lot more and read a lot more. But from what I've seen, those two characters are very interesting. To me at least. Let me see in chat. Attack on Titan women are written great too. The author wrote them the same as the men. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think Attack on Titan's women are fine. I think I stopped reading AOT around the time um when was it? I think the Titan that's the size of the entire of Wall Maria or whatever just like came out and showed up, and I think around there I stopped reading. So I'm gonna trust you. And I think a lot of the women I know that write, which is most people who make comics, write more compelling women and men than most of the men I know that write. Sorry, Joe. But like I think it's just good to see. I think it's just good to see that those kinds of characters existing, and I think it's evidence of the fact that they can be made and made well. That's kind of really where I wanted to go. That's kind of me. This one, to be honest, that's kind of me. Let me see what Ligus Squiggus said. JJK fell off a cliff post Shibuya and then landed the moment Gojo got unsealed. Okay. Yeah, I did, Joe. I think you're like one of the three men here. One of the four. No, there's five men here. I think everyone else is a woman. Everyone else is a woman or AFAB. So everyone else is AFAB. You're one of the only one of the five AMAB people here, Joe. Very unfortunate. Give up the ghost, please. classic, classic art of Joe L. To be honest, God damn. We should remember. Oh my God, is that my favorite person in the whole wide world? Jesse Page Dawson, JPD, greatest name ever, greatest writer ever. I love me some awkward, flawed women who make mistakes. Honestly, Hayao Miyazaki women are the only anime women I could ever relate to in that anime. In anime, honestly, based Porco Rosso's love interest. Say love interest. The only woman who treats Porco Rosso like a normal person. What's her name again? I think her name is like Madame Gina. Her name's Gina. Like Gina is like so based, so based. Such a powerful character. God, I love Gina. I love Gina. I love basically every woman in Hayao Miyazaki content. Can we? If only he wasn't such a weird man. If only he was such a weird man. Nausicaa for life. I know somebody who would say exactly what you just said, Joe. She loves Nausicaa. This is a complete tangent. I'm just gonna tell you. Sometimes I go and shop through Japanese websites for animation cells. I don't buy them. I'm just window shopping. And every so often I see things like tons of Dragon Ball animation cells, like meaningful ones as well, like important cells, and tons of like cells for things like Nausicaa and Hayao Miyazaki movies. And I immediately, as soon as I see that, I think somebody just died. Like that's the only reason anyone is getting rid of a straight up Nausicaa animation cell from like an action scene, or a Dragon Ball cell where he's charging up to be Ghost Super Saiyan. Only reason I could think of. Somebody died. Complete non sequitur, but I wanted to just mention that. Okay. Oh God. Yeah, he could improve his treatment of workers for sure. He could be a lot better of a person. That's a very true statement. Uh, okay. I'm gonna like talk about AI comics for exactly 10 minutes. No, we're 1 hour in. For exactly 15 minutes, I'm gonna talk about AI comics. Okay? And I just need to talk about it for one thing. Because I have experienced like a mental breakdown recently around this. And I just wanna like I want people to talk to me about it. I'm gonna talk to one of my sources to see if I'm right, but like I have not confirmed anything I'm about to say. No, correction. I've not confirmed any conjecture I'm about to give you, and I'm going to remind you about that around the time I bring up the conjecture. So I'm going to move into the AI one though. So if you guys have been watching Webtoon for a bit, you probably saw that new comic that has a bunch of AI in it. Um, see show. There's also that new comic that has a bunch of AI in it. It's called fuck. It's called like Trash something. I literally bookmarked it on the wrong browser, so now I can't find it. Now I can't find it. Trailer Trash, yeah, it's called Trailer Trash. That's what it is. It's called Trailer Trash. There's a few things here. Trailer Trash is made by 4064 and Yishan Lee. Yishan Lee is the artist of another manhwa called Repossessed, which I think literally ended season one this year as well, like early this year, July, June, and came out in 2022 at the end of the year, tail end of 2022, and kind of ran into July of this year. Um, and Yishan Lee is the artist behind it and does a lot of the character art on Trailer Trash. I'm just going to show it on the screen here so you know what I'm talking about. Here it is. This is Trailer Trash. Trailer Trash is a webtoon that literally just came out, and it uses AI for the backgrounds. Like that's not conjecture. You can see it in most of the backgrounds that they are AI generated or 3D models. The models don't really matter to me. The AI generated ones are the ones that I think about a lot more, like this one. Now, this is the thing. This could also just be an untextured 3D model, but it looks like an AI generated 3D background, and to me, it looks very AI generated. I'm saying that up front. I could be very wrong. It could just be untextured or not well painted 3D models in the background. But like a lot of them just look a little off or weird. They have like weird text. They have like strange texturing. The quality of what's generated looks a little bit lower quality. So it's made me believe, I'm gonna be upfront, made me believe that these are AI generated backgrounds. It's all over the place, and I want to show another instance of it happening. I need to scroll down. Uh, I need to scroll down because there's just a lot of there's a lot going on here in this comic. It looks like both, right? It looks like a poorly textured 3D model sometimes, yeah, and like it looks, yeah, there, like this. This could easily be AI generated. This could be poorly textured 3D models. I can't tell. I don't think it really matters, but I can't tell for some of this stuff. It just I know it looks bad, but whatever, right? Now I'm bringing this up to just be like, it's a little weird that two comics have come out so close to each other. Be, that conversation. That's totally fine, Joe. I think it's totally fine if you can't see it. I think it's totally fine if you can't see it. It could be, yeah, it could be taking pics and it could be a lot of other things. I just think it's really weird that two comics have come out really close to each other where the accusation of AI generated content has come out. Do I think it's normal? No. But I think it's indicative of like just a kind of shift in content, a kind of shift in content that I think a lot of people um, are not ready to accept yet. I don't think it's AI per se. I think it definitely is like I don't think it's AI per se. Like I'm just torn. Sometimes it looks like AI. Sometimes it looks like poorly textured 3D models. Kylie makes a great point of like it looks like taking pics and using the find edges filter and futzing with that. Completely reasonable points. I think these are all correct and reasonable points. No, I didn't. They didn't mention they did. Much like the other comic didn't. The Quantum Entangle comic didn't mention they did, which could be for lots of complicated reasons. I think it's an interesting thing of like two comics coming out so close to each other, being accused of using AI. Whether that's true or not is not really the situation we're here to kind of litigate. I think what it is though is like the changing workflow around comics for a lot of individual people and smaller teams that we're going to be seeing going forward a lot more. Um, Up until now, the 3D model was like what people were using, but clearly people are getting more used to using lots of other tools like photogrammetry and like um, generally just using more of their art tools to make comics. Do I think it's a bad thing? Absolutely not. I just think it's interesting how the reactions to them to this have been, and like I think what's interesting about it for me is what is that going to mean about all future content coming out? Like whether it's true or not that AI is being used is almost irrelevant in this conversation, because the thing that's relevant is like the fact that people are accusing it means that we're going to have a lot more comics that come out that need to pass this like quote unquote AI um, like AI check in people's heads, right? Like this comic is low rated for a webtoon. It's already 8.8 and going down. So going down basically since yesterday. Um, and like I guess it's just something we're seeing a lot more as a bunch like as people pointing fingers and getting mad. I think Hika mentions that in Twitch chat. People pointing fingers and getting mad because the system is unethical right now. Um, and people just like getting very angry at the idea of what they think might be AI because they're like AI is unethical, and so if anyone's even using or if I think they're using it, that's bad. I don't know if that's completely true, but yeah, fair enough. I think that's a point. But I think what I'm just saying is like the content that's going to be coming out in the future is going to have to pass that weird check box in people's heads, and like I don't know what that's going to be like going forward. I don't know what kind of industry that's going to lead to going forward. I'm just a little concerned. I don't think anyone's done anything particularly wrong. Like I said with quantum entanglement, and I'm saying here, I don't think anyone's done anything particularly wrong. I just think it's weird if you have done it and you're not mentioning it, but that's neither here nor there because whatever. But I think it's evidence of like a changing direction for the way people are making stuff, for the way people are engaging with making stuff. Um, and to some extent, I think that like that's kind of what Webtoon wants. All these comics are coming out these two comics are coming out really close to each other. Webtoon is no doubt aware of both of these comics, and so I think it's kind of like what the company wants is like a kind of gauge how people deal with what doesn't look like standard quote unquote art to them, you know. And I think that's kind of the test that's not overtly but kind of subvertly going on here. Everyone, don't forget to let governments know that you want AI to be sourced by licensed data and not scraped and stolen. That's very true, Hika. Thank you for saying that. And I just wonder, are we worried about this? Like, average artists, all of you are creators of something that can be affected by AI right now. Are you worried about people looking at your work and it's saying, wow, you used AI, even when you didn't? You just used a technique that just looks weird. Are you worried about that being a thing? Do you think that we're just gonna kind of get like desensitized to this shit? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm insane. I get irritated, but I'm not worried. I think most of the time the reason people don't want to mention that they use AI is because they don't want the backlash. I mean, that's totally fine, Paris. But I raise an argument. I don't think again, I'm not accusing these two people of using AI, but I raise an argument. If you don't want backlash for doing something, don't fucking do it. If you want to do it anyway, learn how to deal with the backlash. I think those are your only options. I think it would be really stupid of an individual to create with a tool, not tell people, and be mad that those people found out. I think you are an idiot. If you want to use a tool and you think it's useful and you're using it the way you think is correct, tell people up front. If you don't do that, if you don't explain that, especially right now, you're not only being very like simple minded, I think you're being very harmful to like other people in your community. It shouldn't be that I look at a work and I like have to guess. You should just be able to tell me, and I can trust that people will do it. You know, and I think it's weird that people want to fuck around with some shit, but they don't want to like deal with the consequences of fucking around. That's me. I used to not be worried about people using my art until one of my commissioners did it. Okay, I see what's going on. I do think it's going to be a very annoying part of our future. If we have to constantly prove we drew something, I would be pissed if someone assumed. Very valid. Um, Seashell arts, nah, because I already get criticized for using 3D backgrounds. Girl, you need to like stop listening to them for that shit. They dumb. Um, no, because I'm a masochist and will sit there and draw. And Vidril, I'm better than AI. Shut up, Vidril. You probably are, though. I will give you that. I just don't want to. I don't want to give you a big head. I don't want to hype you up unnecessarily. By the way, Twitch chat and YouTube chat. I don't know if I can add emotes on YouTube. I can add them on Twitch for sure. I think I can add them on YouTube if people become members, but I don't know if I want to set up YouTube membership yet. Anyway, no, I don't think my art will ever be on the level of art. I think as long as you let others know what AI is, and you're handling the crap coming your way, I guess, and handling the crap coming your way, I guess you're okay. Yeah, I'd be a little upset. I think it'd be more frustrating trying to get people to believe me despite not using AI. True, because like I'm thinking about it, and I'm like we said last week when we had that talked about quantum entanglement. I don't think like that comic is a product of either AI assisted content or somebody who's just fucking really going through it with their schedule. Their schedule sucks ass, and it's fucking them their work over because they're not being given enough time to do their work right. Right? It's one of the two, in my opinion. It can only be one of the two, quite honestly, because unlike in this comic where a lot of the things that I'm seeing that you see that people are seeing that is weird are happening in the background, that one was happening in the foreground, and it was happening in character art, and so it was either overwork or AI assistance. This one is clearly a way of avoiding overwork. Somebody doing something with their backgrounds, an element of the story that often takes a lot of time but doesn't get a lot of notice. I think in both situations, if it's overwork and an avoidance of overwork, it's indicative of a very toxic industry. If I'm very honest with you, but like I'm trying to make sure everything's open for this conversation. Hika, is the reader base too far gone to change the schedule expectations from the top? No, it's never too far gone. Do you know who determines schedule expectations? The people who produce the content. The reader base is never too far gone. You can build a lot of hype and play a big game with release schedules. You can do that. But if you don't want to do that, if you think that you must have the slop every day, then yeah, you're going to fuck over some people. It's not everything going to be made like that. The creator of Dragon of the End talking about how he could never meet Webtoon's expectations because he was always missing deadlines because he was just taking him so long to draw. I know he doesn't blame Webtoon, and I don't even think Webtoon is to blame in that situation. I think it's just evidence of the fact that the expected schedule for people, if even people as good as him, is not okay. I think that's indicative of. Also, filters and effects are technically algorithms too. Just saying, yeah, but like I think when it comes to filters and effects, people see them as different because, at least to me, when I need a picture, when I need any asset that I need to use for the stream, I either find a way to make sure that it is actually properly fair use. Like I said, I'm transforming it, I'm using it for something important, or I just like straight up take it and I go outside and take a photo. And I think like one of the problems of the AI expected of the AI part of the content creation pipeline is like people are like upset that you are stealing instead of fairly using content, you're just stealing it. And I think that's why people get upset about it too. I think that's the part of it that upsets people. Filters have to also be made by people, and they actually take a lot of math. You can make an AI model with only your work, but the problem is, and this is the inherent problem comes from me, the AI system that had to learn how to read and look at images that way used other people's art. Like inherently, the AI is already corrupted. Like it's one of those like no ethical consumption under capitalism situations where like the AI is corrupted from the start. Because to even get to the level where it can use your art, it was already corrupted, which sucks ass. Oh yeah, I just scraped the whole ass internet. Yeah, like that's the problem. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, just let people scrape the entire internet. Lots of people did it. It was fucking awful. It was literal theft. And then like now we have all these algorithms that can do the work of reading our own images and helping us produce our art, but it's just an inherently unethical process. And like, yeah, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, but like, we should at least try. You know, I'm just saying, we should try. Major L for AI. Again, I don't think. I just need to say, I don't think this comic is AI. I think it's just one of a product of one either somebody trying to use a little bit of AI, or definitely, or more than likely somebody just trying to avoid overwork by utilizing photogrammetry or of some kind. And like, I think what these things are indicative of, and there was I think what these moves are indicative of, and also like the responses are indicative of, is an issue that's going to be a lot more mistrusting going forward. And that worries me a little bit. That worries me. I don't want our industry to be mistrusting in the future. Anyway, that's my 15 minutes now. I promised you 15 minutes. I started at 1 hour and 9 minutes, and now it's 1 hour and 24 minutes and 35 seconds. I can no longer talk about this. I can no longer talk about this. It sucks. I don't want it to be too long harping on AI for the rest of my life. Oh, oh no. Somebody's chat is somebody gets shadowed. Somebody got banned by mistake. Somebody's chat got banned by mistake, and I have to like check it now. Lol. I think that's the single funniest thing ever. The photo bashing can be bad. My minutes ran out. Yeah, it sucks. Just going to respond to one question. The photo bashing can be bad too. That just swiping from photographers on the net. That's very true. That's very true. That's very true. Somebody texting me to be like, "I think I got banned." Is hilarious. Thanks for letting me know. I Let's see. Just check if the photo has Creative Commons. People don't know how to do that. You can do that on Google. You can do that on Google when you're searching stuff up. You can make sure the image you're picking up has Creative Commons. You can check. You can make sure of that. I don't know why people don't do that more. People like don't seem to try to do that at all. Oh no. Who's the artist? I found it on Google as the most annoying statement. I agree. I don't know how people feel comfortable making stuff, saying things like that. I think when people do that, oh, okay. I need a new YouTube mod, man. I need a YouTube mod that's available. I think Jenny's there, but I need a more consistent YouTube mod. I have two right now. I think somebody got banned and I didn't even see it. I love that. I think it's super funny. I found it on Google. It's truly free real estate for everyone. 3D models. Okay, yeah. You can also, I should say, I think a lot of 3D models you buy in places like Thingify and stuff also fall into fair use. So I fall into Creative Commons because they're often like buy, use however you want. So I think people shouldn't feel bad about doing those as well. Where in God's name? I'm trying to like unban someone. I think they got banned, but I can't tell. That's very sad. I need to fix this today. I'll probably do it after the stream though, so I can keep up. Okay, that's kind of everything today. If I'm being honest, I don't really want to harp on stuff too much, and generally, generally, I don't want to, be annoying about stuff. So and preachy. So I'm just gonna listen to what everyone else is saying in chat. And this is a great time to ask questions about everything and anything. So Please bring them up. Let's see. From have I heard of? Let's see. From I lost my track. From Rosie. No, from Paris. I like hand drawing everything in my comic. It's torture sometimes. The end result is for me chef's kiss. You know what? You know what, Paris? It's actually kind of like um, impressive that you do that. Time to crawl back into my one shot hole and keep drawing. Poor crumbs. Have I heard of Nightshade? Nightshade, like the thing that kills you, or night? Is there like a comic called Nightshade? Maybe I'm just. It said, the AI poisoning tool, Nightshade. Okay, I saw the tweet about this, but I didn't read about it. I'm gonna level with you. I didn't read about it. Let me just open it real quick. Who's it from? Yeah, it's like Glaze. Oh, the thing you. Oh, I remember. It's being developed. That's so cool. Good. Good. Honestly, good. I should probably read on what they're doing about it because, like, what Glaze does is it basically inputs a few pixels of weirdness in your content. Um, those few pixels of weirdness are enough to kind of throw off most AI, most like enough to kind of throw off most AI and kind of corrupt their data. But like, I'm sure this one is probably something a lot cooler, which is good. I hope it does more. Um, I'm sorry, Kylie. I do read your post. I just forgot. Yeah, I draw. And then Rosie says, "Yeah, I draw most of my stuff in my comic too, but sometimes I use 3D poser or a fucked up gun to make I made in SketchUp. Honestly, based. You've not heard of Glaze, Jess? Jesus, where have you been under a rock? Try. Where have you been? God damn. What shock people don't know stuff. The Glaze account tweeted it. Oh, that's so based. There was a table showing AI outputs after more and more nightshade poisoning image drive to the data set. They look quite funny. Good. I'm actually quite happy that that's happening. Jess, you need to go out more. You need to see the world. I'm quite happy that people are making tools like that because, like, um, make dumb shit, like do stupid shit, win stupid prizes. You know, Glaze is available right now. Glaze is a very GPU bound thing, so you need a good GPU or you need to give it enough time, which sucks. But it is a thing that exists. Oh goddamn. Uh, okay. If there's no one's got any more questions for me, I am going to try and head out and like do something else tonight. I have a lot of things I need to fix about my stream. I need to edit this stream tonight, and yeah, please, it's any question time, dude. Okay, no question. Oh, grapes. Yes. Before we go, let's do grapes. Let's do grapes. Quick thing. Quick thing. Pull. Hold on, I need to do this quickly. I need to do a grape question, kids. Quick question. This is going to be a poll in YouTube and in Twitch. Okay, I need to ask this question, gang. Real talk. Okay, real talk. Grapes and ranch. Yes or no? Okay, the poll is up on YouTube, and the poll is going to be up on Twitch. Hey, Gleamy, right now. Like combining grapes and ranch. Okay, we're gonna run these polls for 2 minutes. Okay, grapes and ranch. Combining grapes and ranch. Eating that. Okay, yes or no? The poll is both on Twitch and on YouTube. Grapes and ranch. Grapes and ranch. I need everyone's opinions today. Grapes and ranch. Until everyone tries some, you don't think it's fair until they try it? Joe, people can tell a flavor. I tried it. I think my favorite comment to this day is the one in the Discord. That was somebody going, it tastes like grapes and ranch, not like anything combined, just like both separately. No, 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 no. I had it. It does taste like grapes and ranch and not like anything combined. I agree with that person. I don't like it. It just didn't do anything for me. Like nothing happened. I felt like my time was wasted. This is how putting a donut on your pizza tastes. Yeah, it's literally like putting a donut on your pizza. Crumbs likes it. Crumbs tried it. So the Twitch chat says no. And YouTube chat, okay, I'm gonna end poll. YouTube chat says no so fucking hard. YouTube chat says no so hard. 69% no, 30% yes. Guys, grapes and ranch isn't that bad to you? Have I seen Brazilian pizzas? Yeah, they look like hell. No, I'm not even touching that shit. I will not be consuming the Brazilian pizza. I refuse. Complete non sequitur at the end of the stream. You talking about grapes? We had to talk about grapes and ranch. Anyway, that was really the main, the main final thing of the stream. Probably doesn't help that I'm a picky eater. You're a picky eater, Paris? I actually would never have guessed that. I don't know. I just imagine most people aren't picky eaters. And I am the only picky eater. I get called picky by almost everyone I know. I get called a picky eater by everyone I know. I used to be called because all I eat is meat and and rice and pasta. Uh, and yeah, and broccoli, and that's it. That's my entire diet right now. Liga Squigga says that just sounds wet. Like I like my food dry. I'll try anything. Very fair. Very fair. No mushrooms. What's with the mushroom hate in this chat? What's with the mushroom hate in this chat? I can imagine it. Doesn't sound good. Also, doesn't probably. Wait, no, that's the same thing. The people that call you picky eaters are the ones that want you to eat what they do. I'm not a picky eater, but I do individually fish out onions from pizza and any other dish with onions. That's being a picky eater, love. I'm sorry. How are you managing to make me hungry? Grapes and ranch will do it for you. Grapes and ranch will do it for you. Mushrooms are mid. They have a weird texture. This is why you guys comment. No, suddenly you all have opinions on grapes and ranch. The chat's moving fast. Everyone wants to tell me about grapes and ranch. Fucking y'all, man. Mushrooms are just kind of mid. Like to me, they're the texture with no flavor. I love mushrooms. I should eat anything besides cabbage and lentils. They just don't taste good to me. Very valid, to be honest. What about chickpeas? I think chickpeas are bad. I have never had a puffball or a lion's mane because I am based and I do not eat vegetables. I say it with my scurvy-ridden body. I do not eat the vegetables. Vegetables. I'm not a big fan of falafels either. True. I don't mess with fish. Wait, what? Chuni in Twitch chat wrote that they think chickpeas are disgusting, and then Twitch auto mod was like held a message bullying. Oh my god. He straight up thinks you're bullying it. And he nah, dude. Racial insensitivity for sure. For real. For real. I bit into a falafel once thinking it was a meatball, got clickbaited. Honestly, me too. Me too. That's happened to me too. Anyway, I'm gonna leave like that's the main final topic. I'm gonna leave like with just a few things I want to ask everyone to think about for a bit. Because I like giving you guys homework at the end of the stream. It makes me funny. Real quick, I would love it if you guys would think a little bit and maybe tell me if you feel like it about what kind of content you would make if you didn't have to make content for money, which sounds so stupid. I know. I'm sorry. But what kind of content would you be making right now if you didn't have to make content to make money? And I know you may not be making money, but if you didn't have to make content with the idea of making money as a future thing, I would like to know where people's minds are on this. And, we can talk about it some more. That's kind of it. Thank you very much for watching today. Thank you very much for being really cool. Um, okay? Like people just saying comics. Don't answer me now. DM me in the Discord. Remember to join the Discord. I'm gonna be heading out now. I really appreciate everyone who's a viewer, and I appreciate all of you. And also Kronja, what'd you call it? Also, the new reader, Croft. Thanks for joining, buddy. I really appreciate it. You're very fun. You're very funny. You brought some great opinions, and I love great opinions on the stream. And I want to make sure I thank that. All right, that's kind of it. I'll see you guys later. I'll be at MCM Comic Con tomorrow. If any of you in the UK are going there, I'll be there. So I'll see you there too. I've been there this whole weekend, but I'll be there for sure tomorrow. Cool. All right. Bye bye.